It's election day in Georgia with the runoff election for Secretary of State and Public Service Commissioner. Joining us now to talk about the importance of today's election, Georgia Governor-elect Brian Kemp. Good morning, Governor-elect Kemp. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Great to be back on with you guys.
Let's talk about that. Today is election day. Some of us have election fatigue, but this one is very important. It's not over, and explain why.
No, we definitely do not need people getting election fatigue until tomorrow. We need people to get out and vote for Brad Raffensperger and Chuck Eaton, two great Republicans that are going to be on the ballot. Not only that, but two great conservatives. They've been doing a great job, and we need to keep Georgia moving in the right direction. And these are the two guys that Jeff Duncan and I need to be serving with us so we can continue to do that, working with our majorities in the House and the Senate. I just want to encourage everyone, if they haven't voted, to please get out and vote. Take a friend with them. It'll be low turnout, so your vote's going to count even more today, and need North Georgia and the rest of the conservatives around the state to turn out for us today.
As Secretary of State, which you know the job all too well, why is it important to have Republican Brad Raffensperger in that office? There's a couple things that are going on. Several. There's federal lawsuits that are going on right now concerning elections, and also the Secretary of State will be holding office during the 2020 elections. So, what are some of the things coming from former Secretary of State that's that important to make sure Brad Raffensperger is the next Secretary of State of Georgia?
Well, Brad, like me, believes in secure, accessible, and fair elections. You know, we've had record turnout in our state. We just had record turnout in the last election. I'm very proud of that. But we also have laws, and it's very important that people realize that the legislature has passed laws to keep our elections secure. A lot of the things that I've supported, but a lot of things that have been in place actually when Democrats were in control. And John Barrow wants to undo that. He also, you know, their playbook is when they lose the election is to blame the system and then try to get a liberal judge to rule by the bench and legislate by the bench and undo those things. And Brad Raffensperger doesn't believe in that. He believes that we should keep our voter rolls secure and up to date by looking at them and making sure that, you know, we don't have dead people remaining on the rolls, and we don't have people that have moved away from our state remaining on our rolls. And that's really what's at stake in this election. It's about the integrity of the process. But it's a lot more than that. The Secretary of State deals with a lot of business people every day. And Brad Raffensperger has been in the private sector for a very long time, very successful business person. And John Barrow is a career politician. And I think their choice is clear. And you know, the same goes for Chuck Eaton, a guy that served this state well and has just doing a good job to help us be the #1 state in the country for business. And that's why it's important that people get out and vote. If they stay home, we'll get surprised in this race. So I want to encourage them to get out and vote today.
Well, you know, the next Secretary of State will be, and you understand that all too well, you understand what it's like to be Secretary of State presiding over the elections in a presidential election. How big a task is that as Secretary of State, and how concerning should people be for the next 2020 election and who's there?
Well, they can expect more of the same in the presidential race that's coming that we saw this year with, you know, people from the New York Times and the Huffington Post and all these liberal other, you know, the national press coming in, just like the donors from California and New York did, to try to mention that, you know, to try to undo the processes that we've got in our state. And that's what's going to happen in the presidential race. And that's why it's important to elect one.
I'm sorry, I can't. I think we're losing you. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, I lost you just a minute. I have one more thing. I know you're going through transition, and you got to get on to your next phone call of the day, encouraging Georgians to get out and vote. You're doing that all morning long on many stations. One more thing. To me, it's very disappointing because Georgia had record turnout. Record registration, which means just simply access to vote access to vote was much better, greater than it's ever been in Georgia. What's it feel like knowing that people are going around the country talking about us in such a negative way? It's almost like, you know, we're family here. Don't go outside of the state lines and talk about us the way they are. Some of our people here in Georgia.
Well, it's just ridiculous, and it's a narrative that's quite honestly just not true, but they spent tens of millions of dollars to convince people that it is true, but the numbers don't lie. As you know, Brian, in record turnout, we have 1 million more people on our voter rolls now than when I took office. I've created things like online voter registration where people can register to vote 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's what we need more of, and that's why I need to get people to help me and go out and elect Brad Raffensperger to continue the good work that we're doing, as well as Chuck Eaton.
30 seconds, sir. How's your transition team going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm meeting with Governor Deal this morning to go over the budget. We've been diving into policy and budget for the last couple of weeks, getting the people in place that we need to keep our state moving in the right direction. And it's obviously very busy, but I'm very excited and I feel good about where we are in the transition.
Sir, thank you for taking your time to call in and encourage Georgians all across the state to get out and vote in this very important election. We wish you well, and we know you're busy during the transition. We can't wait to hear back from you soon.
Have a great day. God bless, and get out there and vote. Thank you.
Okay, we've been joining us this morning, Governor-elect Brian Kemp, encouraging all Georgians to get out and vote. We're talking a little bit. We're sorry. He's on the road. He's using his cell phone. I tell you, the guy's nonstop. I mean, he started out, I think, around 5:30 this morning, making phone calls all over the state, trying to encourage people to get out and vote as he's traveling, heading in to meet with Governor Deal with his transition team, nonstop right there. We hope you were able to hear most of it. We're going to take a break. Get out and vote. Just like Governor-elect Brian Kemp said, get out and vote. This is very important. The 2020 presidential election. And David Perdue, your senator, on the ballot in 2020. Don't give the Secretary of State's office to John Barrow. Just my thought. We're going to take a brief break and we'll be right back.